Welcome to the Grit City Podcast. I am Justin.
I am Brogan.
I'm Scott.
I'm musical.
I'm Jeff.
Oh, yeah. Is it the musical episode, Brogan?
Maybe. I mean, I will sing a song about the Grit City Podcast.
Wow.
And it's got a bunch of dudes with beards and a Steve Dunkelberger as a guest. We look like a bunch of surly uncles. And you are here to play with us today. Thank you for listening.
Steve, that was an intro for you, I think.
Oh, yeah. Hey, great. Thanks. Sure. Go with that.
Everyone knows Steve Dunkelberger, the man about town in Tacoma, the man making things happen, the man who is everywhere because he doesn't want to cook in his kitchen.
That's right.
The man who is everywhere because he is really nowhere.
Right.
Ooh, everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Thank you guys for listening to us. If you guys want to get a hold of us, you can do so. info@gritcitypodcast.com. Find us on www.gritcitypodcast.com and all sorts of other ways to find us, which is really simple because you can find it right on that webpage or even right on this way that you're listening to us. If you're like looking at your smartphone, there's like links right there that can do it. And
you can actually just touch the little picture that says Grit City Podcast and it'll flip over for you.
Isn't that cool?
You can say, Alexa, find Grit City Podcast on the internet.
You know what I love to do? Alexa, volume
Prodigy
11.
Dial-up.
Prodigy dial-up.
On a CD.
Oh man, the BBS boards of back in the day. Yeah, I think all of us are old enough to have gone from having
Not me, I don't know what you're
analog
talking about.
to digital. Shut up. You are like the oldest out of all of us here.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm the oldest.
Okay, fine.
Steve is.
Yeah. Well, when we were cleaning out my mom's house,
Yeah.
the amount of AOL CD, I mean, it went from floppy disks to CDs. I mean, she likes to just save them. Like, magically, you wouldn't just be able to re-download AOL. No, you couldn't do that. You actually had to get one of the damn discs.
Dude, imagine how many AOL discs they put out.
Yeah.
There has to be just billions
Yeah.
of them out
Well,
there.
I know people who still pay for AOL. They have the regular internet through Wi-Fi and the router and all that stuff, but they still pay for AOL because they don't want to give up their email address.
Yeah.
And I told them that you don't have to keep paying.
That's some
because they'll just keep your-
AARP shit. Right
Exactly.
I know.
Exactly.
I know some people. Yeah,
They just
like,
don't want to bother.
Comedians.
They don't want to risk it.
Who've been doing it like forever, and it's just like it's like having the same phone number. Like it used to be a giant pain in the ass to if you switch carriers or something. I stuck with one carrier because it would be the same phone number, and now you can just switch it anywhere. But it's the same.
Do you
thing
still have that T-Mobile plan where you have unlimited everything for like $4?
No.
Oh, I'm sad. That was a great thing.
It was a great thing, but then they got rid of that, and it was basically they add so many things to the other services that it's not necessarily worthwhile to have the grandfathered all data plan.
I tell you, you're gonna laugh and you're gonna flip me ship. That's fine. I understand that.
I'm ready.
Consumer cellular, because it's a cell phone plan for like old people, and so they're like, well, it's like $30, and then for $5 unlimited data, because none of these senior folks are gonna have the unlimited data. It's like, well, so for $40 I
Yeah.
can get everything, and
And
they use everyone else's cell service stuff. So
And I use Wi-Fi almost all the time, which kind of sucks when it doesn't work. But like my data is so low. I went into the store and they're just like, you don't use we can get you a bill that's cheaper than what you're using now with unlimited. And I don't ever have any.
Yeah, we
issues
do
with it.
3 gigs split between 3 phones because my wife is always at Wi-Fi. I'm always at Wizards Keep Games at 17148
look at
116th
that.
Avenue Southeast in Renton, Washington for all your gaming needs. Free Wi-Fi there. So, I mean, it's now when I was a road tech, that was a whole different deal. You had to have that unlimited because we'd be in spots where I want to stream
Anything.
the Grit City Podcast,
Ooh.
and I just couldn't do it. I had to use my data.
Yeah.
So it's a different world we live in today.
I know you guys are driving all around
The earth.
Yeah, like just all of Washington, going all over the place.
We did Oregon, Washington, all the way to Canada, Idaho.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nevada.
even some in Nevada. We flew
Some in
in to some
California.
places. Oh yeah, California too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
traveled
saw
a lot.
We did.
Yeah.
Traveling for work is fun until you do it.
Yeah.
Then
for
it
a
fucking
long time.
sucks.
yeah,
Speaking of which, I got to go to Reno next week.
Ooh, going to Reno.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out of my way to take a bunch of nerds. I'm going for the game manufacturers trade show down there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take him to the Under the Rose. I'm gonna go check in, and I'm gonna do my best to do a drunk dial for the podcast.
Please do. Just send me a text and tell me that not to answer, and I'll just grab that voicemail. One of my favorite things is the last time you went on a man's trip with people from the game store. It
With
was
his leather chaps.
It was a camping trip where he almost died.
You fucking love this story.
Yes!
I hate you.
I love it. Well,
I'm gonna tell people by the time you took a dump on the side of the freeway because you're gonna shit your pants.
I think you just did.
He did that.
And you guys try to take pictures of it.
He's done that a couple times. I've heard a couple of stories.
There's a couple of stories
Maybe
about
you should
that.
like travel with a fanny pack and like a bran muffin or something.
Fucking fanny pack and a bran muffin.
Is that what your fanny pack is for, dude?
Dunkelberger's got a fanny pack full of brand
fanny
muffins.
pack?
Oh, it's the pack for is your cell phone pack?
That's
My
where
cell phone
his
and my
insulin
Swiss Army
pump.
knife.
Colostomy bag.
Oh, ass blood.
I just use a yellow and blue McGreen seal.
Oh,
Ziploc
yeah, on
bag.
the Ziploc bags, and you
And
just
a
hope
hose.
for the best.
Some gaffer's tape because I'm classy.
Because I'm classy. Jesus.
You're one of you're one of the classiest guys I know, Steve.
Gosh,
I love all of your ties, and
thank you.
Dude, my wife's gotten into this whole weird realm of fountain pens now.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
and
not
yeah.
because of you, but because she now
Okay.
is journaling.
Okay.
okay, yeah. So right now, how many fountain pens do you have on you at this point in time?
At this
Steve?
point, I just have the one. This is my travel fountain pen.
All right.
This is called the Chaplain because it looks like
yeah,
Chaplin.
it does.
It's got a fatty liver.
you know.
So what's
Then I got a tactical ballpoint pen.
I was going to say,
everyone
you
has
have
to-
3 pens sticking out.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That one's just for
then a
self-defense.
ballpoint. Well, yeah.
is that just in case
It's,
you? Need,
it's called the hobo stabber because sometimes you need to stab a hobo.
it's Tacoma.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not outside the realm of reason on that one.
Dude, have you ever seen one of those? You think
No.
I'm joking, but hand it to him.
Yeah,
It's like literally metal.
Oh my god! This
And
is like
it's a tactile pen, right?
Yeah, this is a pen that has weight to it. It has actual like grips, like you would see on like a knife or something. And
You could
literally,
break a
I
window
guess-
with that.
That's yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's
exactly,
what it's
yeah.
designed for. Because all the times you run into a river and need to, because you don't
Fight a
understand how
hobo.
windows work.
No, I want to touch it.
I know you just tap it. I've seen those ones that they have like the tap glass things where it's just like a little like piece of plastic that you and with like a little essentially like a nail or whatever like you have on the
Yeah.
end of the pen, and you just flip it and smack it and it'll smash your window if you need something like that.
Yep.
But also it seems kind of horrifying because if you have that, then like I don't like exactly like how often are you driving into rivers or dealing with any sort of thing like that?
Man, around here with all the water, dude, I actually thought about getting one of those seatbelt cutter things and the
Really?
window smashers. I thought about it just because I'm a terrible driver.
Because this is difficult.
Hitting the button and
Yes.
Tough times.
It depends on if your arm's
off.
broken or not,
yeah.
right?
What if your arms?
What if your
broken?
what if your dick
Well, then you
fingers are
can't
broken?
reach for the thing
Listen.
to cut the.
The guy with the fanny pack and all the knives is telling me that I shouldn't be prepared. What are you doing to me?
I'm
Come on now.
Once an Eagle Scout, always an Eagle Scout.
Oh, yeah, there you go with that.
Always be prepared.
How do you
Always.
feel about Girl Scouts
Do a good
being
turn
Eagle
daily.
Scouts?
Well, Girl Scouts are not in Boy Scouts.
Well, what do you feel?
Girls
How do you
are
feel
allowed
about
in Boy Scouts.
girls being in Boy Scouts?
Well, I think as a Eagle Scout, Scoutmaster, and Cubmaster at one point, and I was a Brownie leader.
I believe you have children as well.
I do have children.
So
Yeah. I think that it is recognizing what has been happening for decades. What happens generally is, a boy wants to become a Boy Scout or, a Cub Scout, a Scout. And, the one mom generally shuttles the boys or the kids around to all their swimming activities and horse racing and all that, whatever they do.
Fucking horse racing. I'm
so-
watching a bunch of babies just riding horses.
And so the one parent is sitting in the corner with the younger kid while one of the kids is doing scouting. It's like, well, then the general scout master or scout leader will say, well, why don't you come join us and do whatever we're doing? And now they're just allowing them to get their badges as well.
Yeah.
Now,
it's officially recognized on something that's already been happening.
right, and
you can't because you wear a dress. Sit in the corner.
right, and but what's missing is it's not like girls are allowed to be in troops and in patrols in Boy Scouts with boys. It's not a co-ed Boy Scouts. Girls can have a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout troop within the Boy Scout structure that also meets at the same time. That the boys and girls will have opening ceremonies and announcements and all that
So
stuff.
it's Boy Girl Scouts?
They go into their own troop meetings and do all that stuff.
Oh.
Separate.
And then they'll get together for
Under the badge of Boy Scouts.
Or Scouts of
BSA
America.
America.
Yeah,
Well, did they remove the word Boy Scout from Scouts of
BSA
America?
America.
yeah. BSA.
BSA America.
What does BSA stand for?
Boy Scouts America.
So you say
it's
America
girl.
twice
So it is a troop of girls
in BSA.
in
America.
BSA.
Yes.
Okay.
My favorite thing about
I
this
didn't know
is
how that worked.
how
out.
many beers are we in trying to figure all this out?
Well, and and I can understand. The obviously the Girl Scouts of America are ticked up because
You're stealing from
they're
them.
stealing from, but
They don't teach them the same
Well,
things.
that was the thing I was thinking.
it's
It's like,
completely different programs, and
Yeah.
sometimes people go to Girl Scouts or Daisies or whatever. Indian girls.
Indian girls
I think that's
and Eastern boys.
Eastern down the damn world.
oh, he just hit
West
West
End
End
girls.
Wow.
Okay. And yeah, different programs. So the idea is that if it fits them, it fits them. When I grew up on military bases, going to Scouts was a thing that was not optional. That's what kids did.
Yeah.
And now, when I was Cub Master,
Kids, boys and girls, or just boys?
boys and girls. I mean, that was just
Yeah.
on military bases.
Just get them to
you
do
went
something.
to scouting,
Yeah.
because there weren't recreational soccer leagues.
Yeah.
You know,
No, if
generally.
you need it, yeah, that's a good idea.
And I went up to junior high always carrying a Swiss Army knife, and now it's a felony and you get expelled.
No.
But
And
that
you-
was
well,
sort
I
of
mean,
the
like
thing.
you showed us. I mean, speaking of well,
you could
prepared,
fucking hack something with yours.
Yeah,
like,
you have no. You don't even need to pull out any of the 1,100 things that your Swiss Army knife can do.
You have
It's
a
brick.
Gordian knot
It's
in your
a
pocket.
brick that you can just smash someone's face in if you need.
Yeah,
to. I
if
can
you need to.
understand why.
Yeah.
How many things do you have on that Swiss Army knife? Speaking
I
of
think
always
it's
be
like
prepared.
73 things on the knife. Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah. And I wish I
believe
would have
it.
gotten the 91 thing version
The
because,
91.
'Cause-
What the hell does that have in
like I
addition
said,
to
it
that?
has a flashlight. It has a USB drive. It's got a cell phone battery charger that you
A
get up to 6
pocket
hours.
pussy.
I'm like, whatever. Why not?
Last time I saw one of those, it was at a convention that we always go to.
A what? A pocket pussy?
Yeah. Like literally the last one I saw
Yummy.
was Well, moving on
Wow.
from that. Hi, Steve. How are you doing?
Great.
So Steve is the man about town. If there's a big event going on, you're usually either a part of it or at least just attending it. One of the things you've been doing is Steve's Drunk History.
Right.
Is it consistently at the Broken Spoke?
Yes, it is. Oh, every month it's at the Broken Spoke. I actually did booking some. You guys don't laugh, but I'm booking talks at retirement homes. I strip off the the talk about spooge and things. And
Well, I mean, you're meeting
all
at
the
a
fun-
place called the Broken Spoke.
and all the all the funny stuff and the me not being completely smashed while I'm doing it. And it's great. I like
Oh
it.
yeah, and I just have to imagine
fun
that.
groups, yeah.
Yeah, they're having fun with that in retirement communities, like just all over Tacoma, just hanging them out.
Yeah, well, I was looking for more. My
yeah,
parents just moved to Patriots Landing, so I was there Friday.
Where?
Patriots Landing in DuPont.
Oh,
Oh, DuPont.
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought that was some new shit in Tacoma I missed.
No, Patriots Landing is a military retired focused retirement home.
Ooh, that's got to be
That
interesting
sounds
having
fun.
like the
It's
old,
a bunch
the
of
old
people
military
with perfect lawns and flags in their yard.
Absolutely. Yes, because they don't tend to their lawns, and Patriots Landing, has flags on each one of their.
Are
houses
you? Are you catering specific content for them? Would you be talking about the military history of this area?
Well, we'll eventually. It's generally the same program. I just kind of make a PG version because my
nice.
parents are in the audience.
Yeah, right.
But the last one, let's see, was Ghost Stories. I did the Ghost Stories
yeah.
one. And that was kind of fun. And then I'm going to do the Candy Chronicles.
Yeah, like that's,
Tacoma's ties to candy making.
and that's one of the
That's on
things.
the
Like
12th.
some people know about Brown and Haley and Almond Roca, but there's
Those are low-hanging fruit stories, kind of like Brogan.
Listen, bitch.
And so, actually, recently you just did one on the music of Tacoma.
Yep.
And it's one of those things that people don't necessarily realize that there was some legendary music that came out of this area. Some people know about Bing Crosby.
And I didn't mention him intentionally.
And that's one of those things because he was born here, but really didn't necessarily do anything here. It was just like he was.
I didn't know Bing Crosby was from Tacoma.
Yeah, he was born in Tacoma.
I can tell you this story about that. I did a story about Bing Crosby's house, and he was actually born, in the house. It's not like his parents lived there and they born in an actual hospital. He was born in the house.
Yeah.
That shit happened back then.
1903. And I did a story about the building, and the guy who owns the house is a friend of mine. And he didn't know it was Bing Crosby's house until Christmas Eve of the year he moved in.
When Bing Crosby's ghost showed up?
No, a bunch of UPS students came up in a bus and started singing, White Christmas at like 10 o'clock at night. He's like,
what the hell?
What the fuck are you doing at my house? This is what we do every year. We're singing to Bing Crosby's house. Like, Bing Crosby's house? He's like, what are you talking about? That's your house. Like, you don't see the plaque on your stairs? Like, oh, shit.
He straight up bought the house like he owned the house.
It's not really mentioned, in the deed stuff.
That should be in like the listing. Like you would just imagine.
It's in the historic North Slope District, yada yada, historic yada yada yada. He was like, oh, okay. And so every now and then, this is the weird. Every now and then, it appears in the you're from Tacoma when things of you didn't know that Bing Crosby was born here, and people will walk by and shoot a photograph of his house. It's like, oh yeah, I do, I know that house. Well, there was this maybe about 6 months ago, where a guy walked up to the doorstep and shot a photograph through his plate glass big door.
Fuck that guy.
And he goes, "This is Bing Crosby. What was Bing Crosby's living room?" And he's supposed to get off my fucking porch, man.
Yeah. That's like the Goonies in the Astoria house. Like they have tarped over the house because they're tired of people taking pictures of it, and it's because a little bit of that invasion of privacy.
Cunts.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like
be
the invasion.
respectful.
Yeah.
I heard that was a problem with the Breaking Bad house.
Dude, people were throwing
pizza
pizzas up on the roof. It's like people don't have boundaries because they see something on TV or know that something is a historical place. Like, at least be cool enough to say maybe knock on the door and say, "Hey, would it be cool
Leave
to
those
take a
fuckers
picture?"
alone.
I don't know. I
Take
think
it from the street like Google.
Right. Throw your pizza and get the fuck out of there.
Right.
stop throwing the pizza and just give it to me and then move on.
Yeah, move along. But he couldn't do anything legally because he didn't tell the man to get off of the lawn before the photograph was taken. So
Yeah,
it's
because you just
not
did
an
it.
illegal
Did it
issue.
run.
It's just like, come on, dude.
That's just like the history is cool, but do it from the street, I guess. Yeah. And there's
Hey, Steve.
Hey,
What you know about Edison City?
what do I know about Edison City?
Why is it called Edison City?
Because it's named after the elementary school that was there.
Oh,
really,
that's not cool.
yeah, because
Well, most neighborhoods are named after the elementary school that was.
really.
Well, fuck.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, there you go.
Fuck,
There you go.
I thought I was gonna stump Dunkelberger.
Yeah, there's an effort to kind of bring that name, those historic names back to make
Call it
smaller neighborhoods. Because everyone says, South Tacoma. Well, hell, half of Tacoma is technically south of Tacoma.
Yeah, right.
But then North Tacoma, people don't think of the North Slope as North Tacoma, but actually Browns Point is North Tacoma.
But
people don't think of
you're
you
right.
don't think
yeah.
of that
other
as
side.
Tacoma.
Yeah.
That's more like
No, they
Federal
think of
Way.
Racism Line and then North Tacoma.
Yeah, and then everything. What is 6th Ave up?
Yeah.
Like basically just passed
Human
on this side of the
beings.
north side.
It's totally racist.
Whoa,
Jeff,
you made it weird there,
how are
Bergen.
you?
Yeah. But yeah, a couple of things about the music thing that I actually found kind of cool. That Foxtrot was made popular in Tacoma before it.
Really?
The fuck is Foxtrot?
It's the foxtrot, the dance, like the old timey dance.
1910s, First World War shit.
Dude, I guarantee they were foxtrotting in this building.
Yeah, they
Back
were
in the
The
day.
Charleston, the
hell out of this.
foxtrot.
Dick dingers. All right, I'm making tacos.
And then
Make tacos.
Jelly Roll Morton, if you're familiar with jazz folks, Ferdinand Jelly Roll Morton. He was 14 when he started playing the piano in a sporting club, a brothel, if you will, in what is now Ponder's
horse?
Corner in Lakewood.
Oh,
And
wow.
they called him Jelly Roll because at the time that was a term for a female's genitalia.
wow.
And
Oh man, you just lined out about 15 new jokes at my house.
all right,
Holy shit.
are you right
Jelly
with Jelly
rolls?
Rolls? Yeah.
Jelly roll.
Well, and the thing
Like
was,
that jelly
and he
roll?
was
Sorry,
he was
baby.
known for popularizing not only speeding up and slowing down tempos just on the cuff or on the fly, if you will, but making bridges from one song to the next. And he crafted that because the standard, operating procedure in, the mattress jockeying of that time was a patron got 3 songs.
Oh,
and so he would just transition.
yeah.
And so when it got to be, that end of the third song, like a minute left of the third song, he would start playing faster to kind of get the customer to, to come and go because there's a line of waiting.
It's the wrap it up Oscar
Yeah.
music right
Yeah.
there. It's the same thing that they do at any of the Deja Vus or
Right.
any of the other strip clubs around here.
Is it, Justin? Explain to us.
Yeah.
So
from what you've read,
from what I've read
from the
on
New Yorker.
research on the internet,
He's all, it's about 3 songs, about 3 songs for 20.
and they
That's about what you
always
get.
cut out the middle part of the song, and you know it because there's just this awkward thing. Those goddamn DJs.
Yep.
So they've been doing that for a long
Yep.
time.
Yep.
Then apparently,
which is oddly enough, which is why most songs are 3 to 4 minutes. The
Yeah.
idea is that it meets the 12-minute slot because then you need 3 minutes of transitional time to bring the next customer in and you start the songs again.
wow, only need 12 minutes. There you go. Making
That's
it
all you
happen.
paid for. $8 is $8.
I love it.
$8.
And then, so you've been doing the drunk history with the music, and you every month it's a different topic. And I mean, you know so much and have done so much research. You have written books about not only Tacoma but Lakewood.
McNeil Island will be out next month.
Really?
Yeah, start out, yeah.
Is
But-
McNeil Island still going on? Or
Well, it's still there. It's still an
Yeah.
island. Yeah.
It's still an island, and I know it still has facilities.
It's not a prison anymore. It has
Yeah,
the
explain
special.
that to people real
Okay.
quick, because I know it was like a criminally insane prison or
No,
something.
no, no,
weird
no,
like
no,
that.
no. That
See,
was
this is exactly
Okay.
why. Yeah.
Okay, so I will give you the thumbnail sketch of McNeil Island's history. It started out as a territorial prison,
Oh.
and then mostly it housed white folks who were selling booze to Native Americans,
Oh, so like the
and
prohibition
that would
sort of
get you
thing.
5 to 7 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, they were.
Holy shit.
And that's a federal offense.
yeah, I guess.
And then it became a federal institution when after statehood, and all the big names in the federal system were there. I've told you that my Charles Manson story before, haven't I?
I don't think so.
Okay, well,
Tell it again.
I'll flash back to that in a minute. I'll give you the McNeil Island story, and then Machine Gun Kelly was out there.
Not the rapper.
Alvin Creepy Carpus was out there, who actually Alvin Creepy Carpus, who is founder of the Ma Barker gang, taught Charles Manson how to play the guitar. Long story.
Wow.
Robert Stroud, the Birdman of Alcatraz, he was out at McNeil Island. And then it became a state prison in 83. I'm trying to remember the dates on this. And then it closed in during the Great Recession. And now that prison is shut down, but there's a special commitment center out there, which is not run by the Department of Corrections. It is run by Department of Social and Health Services, DSHS.
And that is for the like high risk offenders.
They are people who have violent sex offenders who have served out their full DOC sentence, but a judge has determined that they are likely to reoffend. So the state civilly commits them to treatment
On an island.
Sex
until they are
offender
deemed
island.
until they're deemed unlikely to reoffend.
You have to think about that though. Like they've done their sentence, right?
Yeah.
And someone has said, no. We're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
going to put
Try
it out
again.
in
Yeah,
public.
oh, sweet.
Yeah,
So
you got your
it's-
sweatshirt.
It's
Yeah.
the first, hey, holla, holla. So it's one of the first states to do that. And the idea is that they attend or they are offered sexual offender treatment things from DSHS. And then a panel decides if they're likely to reoffend. If they're not likely to reoffend, then they're released out into the general population. Well, they're
The halfway
monitored
houses,
and
whichever
all that
which way,
stuff.
yeah.
The catch is that sex offenders don't have to participate. They're not, they can exercise their constitutional right to not participate in
Yeah.
sex offender treatment.
Yeah, because they've fulfilled their sentence.
And
Right.
then if they are deemed to not likely to reoffend, the state is on the hook if they do reoffend. So the state takes on the responsibility of them not offending and they just say, we're just not going to let them out.
Yeah.
And so
So weird.
It's such a like that weird gray
is,
area
man.
of like justice and like
and protection of the people a little bit.
Civil
right?
liberties,
Just,
yeah.
and civil liberties.
You and I have
right?
a friend that is a psychiatrist on that particular island.
really.
Yeah,
Huh.
JP.
Oh wow, really? Damn. That's interesting. I want to talk to him about that. Get some weird stories. I don't know, but this is probably like some sort of
Right, don't search
confidentiality.
Justin or Brogan in the sexual offenders watch list.
Hey,
Remember
I'm
that
clear.
dude we used to talk
Hey,
to?
hey,
That's
yeah.
where it was.
Yeah. Hey, I'm clear because I was a security guard and you had to do background checks. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Mostly, I think I'm cool with that.
I'm making tacos.
Are you really?
Taco, taco,
Yeah,
tacos.
steak tacos.
Okay.
Really?
Becca's
anyway,
gonna have my steak taco. Becca.
So yeah, so I did a book about that. No, I'll tell you, this is not in the book, so I'm not giving away any spoilers or anything like that.
Nice.
But back in the day when I was doing, this may shock you again, I was doing the prison ministry stuff out at McNeil Island when I was like a church-going guy.
What?
Wow.
Apparently you can be an atheist and still do church stuff.
I believe
not
in you.
It was fun. Anyway, so I was able, before they tore down the old Charles Manson's old cell block, I spent the night out there in his old cell, and I recorded on my ukulele. I recorded his song as he wrote it, "Cease to Exist,"
In his old.
before he sold it to Brian Wilson. That became the hit Beach Boys song "Cease to Resist." That they didn't credit him, didn't credit Charles Manson when it was released. Therefore, Charles Manson went to go get his comeuppance, and that's why he sent the family to Cielo Drive, thinking that Brian Wilson is there, but Roman Polanski had bought the house in the meantime. So that's the connection. So
You
anyway,
just fucking blew my mind
That is
for
some
a second.
like
Okay.
every time you come on, yeah, it's just like how you can manage to turn something that is and God, dare I say a pop culture event that something
Yeah,
like that
like
happened.
you're talking about like a serial killer like cult thing that just happened, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you're telling me that was just an argument over someone's like rights to a song? Is that what you're saying?
that's well, yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
be real. That
Yes,
wasn't
that's-
just.
Yeah, that is
That's fucked up, though.
Apparently,
right?
you haven't read Helter Skelter, but okay.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, yeah.
That one and
me to
the
think.
Hitler
But anyway,
one, both
so
of those haven't made my reading list.
I recorded it. I recorded it in a cell, and I sent it to him.
That's creepy.
Before he died. Spoon love from up above. And he sent me. He sent his Atwa, his foundation, sent me a Christmas card,
Whoa.
which is not, oddly enough, a conversation you want to have on the first date.
No.
Which kind of explains.
Yeah.
So did he sign anything?
Oh yeah.
That's
So,
fucking creepy.
how many people do you know got a signed Christmas card from Charles Manson before he died?
Nobody.
Yeah, nobody.
Very
that-
few
one,
got
huh?
after.
One.
You know.
yeah, I know exactly one person, so this is perfect.
So you're welcome for that.
I mean, it's like stories like this. This is the reason why you need to come and check out Steve
Dude,
because
that's super creepy.
Yeah,
you just
right?
creep me out, man.
I know
Fuck,
it's
sorry.
cool.
Yeah.
But like I said, that you've been a part of just hanging around and being a part of Tacoma, and one of those
Oh
things
gosh,
was.
I don't know about that.
Well, no, I really do believe it because anytime that there's an
I'm
event
a
going
fly on the
on,
wall.
I see that you're there. But yeah, you're there and you're recording, at least in your memory, and then being able to tell these stories of all this stuff going on, doing that research, doing that diligent work, and then also being a part of special events because last night, as of this recording, was the Girl
Holla,
Trouble
That was a
35th anniversary show.
Amazing show.
Was it?
Amazing. Oh god, it was amazing.
You
Oh
guys,
my god.
You guys need to go back and listen to our episode where we talked with Isaac Olson, who is a family member of at least a couple of them.
Yep.
And he did the movie Strictly Sacred, which tells the story of Girl Trouble.
Yep.
And
Great
this one-
movie.
it's a
Amazing
fantastic. It's a fantastic movie. I suggest everyone go out and look at that. Just because.
and you can see photographs of me.
Really?
Yeah.
You're in it?
Yeah,
Of course
back,
you are.
Back in the community, I didn't know that at the time. Back in the community theater days when they were playing, and bands from my high school, Seaweed from Lee's High School, Go Lancers. So if you look very carefully in some of the black and white photographs of the time, that kids were taking in the 80s and 90s with their Pentax K1000s, if you look in the back, you'll see a 6 foot, 135-pound guy in a tie.
Yes.
When I
of
was a
course.
junior in
I
high school.
knew the tie was going to be there. Always in your
And
ties.
I was watching it because I did a story about the movie. I was like, oh shit, there I am.
Oh man.
And so, how was the show? Now, okay,
Really good.
so people that don't know about what they decided to do, I love this thought, and I wish I would have gone, but whatever reasons. They essentially what happened was they've been doing it for 35 years, and they want to see whether or not they want to keep doing it. And so, what they did was each member would play their own instruments, but would make a Girl Trouble tribute band with people they knew playing the other instruments.
Right.
So it was 4 different bands, but the same one band. Like, how does that even
Right.
translate when they're doing it on, like, in a performance?
So like, well, Bon was I can't remember what the names were. I probably should have brought the program. But yeah, so, Dell from Mirror Gloss was lead singer, and Tony Daniels, some notables, Bill. My last name is Dunkelberger, and I still can't pronounce his name, so I feel bad. But you know who you are, Bill. So they're, folks from local bands. The idea is that they formed, 4 members of Girl Trouble. So they've had 4 tribute bands, and the idea is that they would play Girl Trouble songs or Girl Trouble covers, whatever.
Yeah, I just
as if they were lounge acts.
Oh, really? So
But-
it was like lounge acts?
Well, I mean, it was kind of tongue in cheek, but I mean, it was really
Yeah.
good music. It wasn't, kitschy.
Yeah. So I found the Facebook event page. So the 4 bands that were Dale Phillips' Girl Trouble Revival, Von Wheely's Express, KP's GT, and Kahuna's All Girl Tribute to Girl Trouble. And then they just had a bunch of different people from local bands, friends, and playing all those different instruments. And it's just great. It was a really fun way just to
Yeah.
kind of experience that in a way that you would expect a band like Girl Trouble to do.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah. And then it ended the show with all of Girl Trouble playing.
Oh, their own
For-
sound.
And it
90
really
minutes.
did?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That
So
is
it wasn't just
amazing.
4 bands. It was 5 bands over.
And I had to go late into the night then for that one.
Yeah, I'm old. Yeah, I wish it would over at like 7:30.
Well, thanks for showing
I think
up
it was,
then.
I think it's like midnight, something like that.
Oh, okay. So a pretty
like that.
standard good time there.
Yeah.
And that was happening at the Alma Mater, which is a pretty great venue. I still want to hang out
Sold
at.
out.
Did it really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then I'm glad that because I was like, oh, maybe I'll get tickets,
Yep.
and then good. So
Yeah, I think they. I heard some folks say that it's the first time that they've actually had to turn people away because they
good.
sold out
Good.
tickets and they hit the capacity of the building. So.
Good.
And it was really cool if Tacoma now, this may seem odd with so many bars out there, but there are fewer live music venues in Tacoma, bar type places. Everyone's doing karaoke, which
Yeah.
is fine, but there aren't places, like old Hell's Kitchen and
yeah.
The Valley.
that sort of places.
Yeah, it was like
you know.
the Valley.
The
there's
Valley's great.
The Valley, the airport are 2 really good
Yep.
ones at
Yeah.
that, and just kind of going around. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of those.
But but there was a time when every night there would be 8 or 9 bars having 8 or 9 different groups, and now it's generally you may have a Wednesday thing and an open mic,
Yeah.
singer songwriter thing on Thursday, and then Friday and Saturdays are the shows, maybe, and then
Yeah, usually
trivia and
yeah, I know
karaoke.
there's like for the good rock scene, it would be like Louis G's and Fife is a pretty good one. I like their pizzas too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of that. So it's good to see something like the Alma Mater being able to put out a bunch of different shows.
Yeah.
Aren't necessarily just like rock based.
Right.
I mean, a lot of them are going to be having whichever rock band that they're having do whatever.
I guess we need to get out more, huh? Start doing some open mic nights or like.
Oh,
'cause
I heard
know,
the comedy part there. You
well,
cut
because
yourself off right there.
Well, because Tacoma Comedy Club does open mic nights on Wednesdays, and so I've been thinking
Do you
about
know
just
people
going
who are
down.
funny?
No, but
Okay.
I know people that.
I know people who know people who are
No,
funny.
I was gonna say I know people that go there and actually do the open
okay.
mic.
I know people who go there.
Right.
They might be funny, but I don't know because I don't go there.
Right. I know people that show up at those, and so I should support them.
I know that there's a lot of places are trying to do that open mic thing, but it also kind of seems to me like along the same lines as the karaoke thing, where I'm like, sure, you put a mic there and you hope that people show up to do stuff, but I kind of also like promoting like local acts that are doing stuff here in Tacoma, or like at least in like Federal Way, Renton, or like just the South Sound sort of area, so you don't have to go up and do the slog that is Seattle like all the time.
Dude, it
because
can be a nightmare on the weekends too, especially if you're gonna drink, right? Like nobody wants to drive back, and then the buses don't run, the trains don't run on the weekends.
Uber's a $50 ride on that point.
It's a $50 ride or a hotel. So Tacoma's way better.
Someday they're gonna get the light rail done.
Maybe.
And now they're talking about doing like the fast ferry, the walk ferry from I guess down from like Point Defiance and over across.
We know the downtown on the go people are all into the transit people. We should have them back on at some point.
We need to, because I still think that we need to do the boot to boot, which
that was Brogan's idea.
Yeah, that was Brogan's idea. I don't know if you're here, Steve. I don't know if you listen to this. What we want to do is we want to do from the flying boot to where did we want to end it up at, Brogan?
We want to go from Das Boot at
From-
Rheinhaus.
Oh yeah, from the Rheinhaus to the flying J.
Flying boot.
No, the flying boot, the flying J. The flying J is
Yeah, I
the
don't
truck
know what
stop.
the fuck
No.
you're
That's
talking
right.
about.
So yeah. So from the flying boot to the Rheinhaus to do Das Boot, but do it on the little lime scooters.
Because all the good German restaurants were taken. Rheinhaus is not good German food.
Well,
It
just because they
doesn't
have the
to be,
big boot.
because they have the
thing.
big boot, and it's a good ending on the one side to the other. So basically, you're going from 38th down to Division, and so doing that on one of the scooters.
Trolley line ran right down there.
I know, but now we just have the little lime scooters. So, Dunk, you think we can get you on a lime scooter and roll down with us?
Sure.
He doesn't seem enthused at all, does he? He's like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Right
I got nothing to do.
Sure.
I'm doing beers. You want another?
Oh, I suppose, since you're up and all.
One of the things I also wanted to bring up with is the Pythian Temple, the
Yes.
Knights of the Pythias. What's any new stuff going on with you with that?
Oh, see, we got a dinner tomorrow night. We got the St. Patrick's thing, but that's gonna be done.
Yeah,
by
a
the
little
time
bit
this is
late
up.
for that. But so, what do you guys do for St. Patrick's?
We eat corned beef and cabbage, and
Really?
for $5 all you can eat. Just show up and do whatever.
Corned beef
Sure,
and
yeah,
cabbage.
fine. Let's see. What are we doing? Oh, has anyone done that Hunt a Killer thing? That subscription
No.
service?
I got it from my wife.
Oh yeah, how is it?
Stupid. What is it?
Oh really?
Well, I mean, it's.
talking to your microphone.
He's cooking. Bitch, I'm cooking. Hold on. No, it's very well made.
Yeah.
The product itself is very good. The story is pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like,
So what are you
like
guys
there's
talking
not like
about?
a real super serious suspicious thing.
Oh okay.
Like, it's a subscription box that they basically give you a story to like hunt down live your own little episode of Hunt Down Dexter.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, because we're thinking about doing that for game night, because we're looking at being open more than just Monday nights and just kind of meeting there and hanging out.
Yeah.
So
You need to
thinking
get the
doing
game.
RPG stuff.
Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. It is way, way better, and you get 10 instead of 1, and it's $40.
Probably available at Wizards Keep Games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can pick that up at Wizards
Well,
Keep Games.
if
If Sherlock Holmes isn't your deal, you can get Mythos Tales, which is an H.P. Lovecraft themed of the same deal. Way better
Oh,
than
okay.
fucking Hunter Killer.
Okay, I'll have to
Really?
give that a shot.
But it's
But
basically
if
a
only
reason
if
for
I
people to
had
come
like
in.
a gaming store that would sponsor us, and then they would come to the Pythian Lodge.
I'll give you a fucking copy.
Thank you very much, sir. I love you long time.
This is perfect. Now,
So yeah, the idea is that we're
Yeah.
we're all just sort of artsy misfit toys sort of people, and
Hot dogs just aren't doing the
hot-
job
hot-
anymore.
well, but it's one day.
I
But
love
it's one
hot
day a
dogs.
month. It's like,
I'm
well,
just teasing.
we want to do something, but we don't necessarily want to go out in a bar or whatever. It's like, well, let's just go to the Pythian Lodge and hang out. Well, what do we, so we started doing Pythian nights, social nights. Get
Nice,
it? But
yeah.
it's nights with a K because we're knights. Get it? A little
Jesus.
play on words. So it's social nights. And then we just, sometimes we'll play, I'll do a ukulele lesson. Sometimes we'll do, one of our members is a really good pool player. So he taught us how to play some serious pool. Then we're thinking, well, let's do like a role-playing game night or whatever. And
Wow,
go from there. Why
yeah.
not?
That sounds like Adam Boyd's idea.
All right.
That was one of the things. Cause the idea is he doesn't have a life, and he's not in the hobby.
And that's, I can't imagine that you would be able to do that inside the temple area where you have all your secret meetings
Sure,
and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Really?
It's like, look at him. He's like, I got the keys, dude. We can go anywhere.
I know.
Doesn't
I'm just
matter.
like it was so outstanding. Like people need to go down and check it out on the Mondays that you guys are
Mondays
doing
at
it
6 o'clock.
because you can get some hot dogs, you can get a tour of the
We also
place.
do brands, hot dogs and quesadillas.
Ooh, quesadillas.
You got me there. That was the tipping point.
Yeah.
Was the quesadilla. Like hot dogs, I was like, but quesadillas.
Located downtown.
Handcrafted quesadillas.
The worst secret club ever because they have a neon sign right outside. But it's one of
And a
those
Facebook page.
and a Facebook page. We're super secret guys.
Shh,
Oh,
somebody.
Brogan's showing off a little bit for the live streamers out there, and if you want to live stream, you can go to patreon.com/GritCityPodcast.
Is that a hot sauce with an iguana foot attached to it?
Yeah, Brogan, go talk into a microphone and tell us
the
what
hell
this is
is that?
about.
Up
Just
and
trying
down,
to
up
tell
and
him how
down,
to
up and down,
put it in there.
faster. It's almost there. It's almost there. It's almost there.
All right, so Brogan, tell us a little bit about the tacos that you're making for all of us
It's
here.
got an alligator foot on
is it
the
an
hot
alligator
sauce.
foot?
Yeah, it looks like it, yeah.
He's like, how does
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
Oh, no.
hot sauce fans of all sizes. Today we are going to have delicious carne asada steak tacos with some delicious sauteed onions and some Boudreaux's pipe cleaner red Savina hot sauce.
pipe cleaner? And I know what pipe they're talking about getting cleaned right there.
Yep, it is a natural
makes your-
product from 546
Makes your colon
Hickory
steam.
Avenue, New Orleans, Louisiana. You can check them out at alligatorking.com.
You know-
it's so cool because it comes
Yeah.
with a actual real keychain with an alligator claw on it.
Yeah.
Pipe cleaner.
Yeah, this is gonna burn all of our
Booties.
buttholes.
Dude, if
so
anybody
bad.
ever told me eat this taco sauce or this hot sauce called pipe cleaner, I would be like, fuck you.
so Steve,
So when
welcome
you're down
to
at the
that.
manhole, it's going to make your dick tingle.
The pipe cleaner.
Wow, this is going to be very interesting when it comes to that point. Oh my God, Scott, I know that
forgot.
you wanted to bring up the Manuscript Museum with
Oh
Steve.
yeah, man, I love that place. Actually, I was thinking about it earlier when you were talking about having the crazy guy sign your postcard. The
Manson?
Elf Schild. Yeah, that
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was at the Manuscript Museum and they had World War II documents and they had one like signed by Hitler.
Yep.
And you could tell it was like sideways, like he didn't care. It was just an initial.
Well, yeah, I mean, everything.
I'm sure 100 of them.
Everything
signed, right?
required his signature, so he just constantly just
Right.
writing his own signature. Or
But
his secretary would do that too.
It totally gave me goosebumps looking at it. Like it's just one of the creepiest things I've ever I've seen. Right? Like it's really weird.
And it was
so,
just there at that Manuscript
yeah,
Museum.
dude, that place is a fucking
It's amazing.
jewel, dude.
Yeah.
Tell him. Like
Yeah.
I talked about it, but it like I don't think you can do it justice. It's free to go. And they have like actual like handwritten notes from Darwin, dude.
Yeah.
And
Jeez.
like one of the original printed Bibles, and they'll just have the pages in there. Like these people just own it, and they put it out because the guy who made it wants to encourage like free thinking. He says that there's not enough of that anymore, and so yeah, like
That's a
it's-
good call.
dude. It's brilliant.
And it's free, open during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Monday through Friday. They get shitty hours. It's
yeah,
like 9 to 4 or something
Yeah.
like
Like that, yeah. Yeah, Tom, he's the guy who runs it.
Oh, the guy that runs it's fabulous. He's
yeah, he's a good
awesome.
guy.
He's a really nice dude.
Yeah, I think it's one of the only privately held copies of Richard Nixon's resignation letter.
Ooh, wow.
You know, there it is.
Interesting.
Or Napoleon Bonaparte's paycheck signed by Napoleon Bonaparte. So he issued, he gave himself a raise. Okay.
That sounds
This still
about
a
on line with anybody in a
Dude,
political
have like
spectrum sort of thing right there.
composers, like original composers' work, where you can see where they wrote like certain notes, and then they crossed them out and didn't like them and wrote other ones. Right?
Some of these are like hundreds of years old. How does are you able to even keep that sort of stuff around? Like just the preservation for that seems
Well, it's
mammoth.
He's an industrialist who he's got I think 5 or 6 different museums around the country.
Yeah.
And it's set up a foundation. He just has the largest privately held collection of manuscripts or historical documents in the world. You know, the only privately held copy of the Magna Carta, which was, you know, like a thing.
Yeah.
You know, like-
Yeah, dude.
and so he just
God.
bought
That's
it, you know.
Thing, right?
Yeah, just rich people
Yes.
buying stuff because they
Right.
want to collect it.
Yeah.
So versus, you know, keeping it in his closet, he just set up these museums and they just shuttle things around and,
Yeah.
you know, they know what the collection is and like, oh, I'll put together an exhibit of early Russian cosmonaut documents.
And
or
you
whatever.
have
Why
so
not?
much of that stuff you can actually curate displays and exhibits
Oh,
based
yeah,
on just the things that you
I
want.
mean, it's hundreds of thousands of documents.
Yeah. Every 90 days they change it out. So it's like last time they had like papyrus from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Like and you can see it, and you can see like the filaments coming off the papyrus. It's like inches away from the glass. Like it's right there.
Wow.
It's really
And so this
cool.
is something you could go to every, like, seriously, like every, 90 days? You
Yes,
said?
I've been dorking out on it since I found it. I've been like 4 times. I think I went twice to the last one. I'm yeah, dude. It
Yeah,
is
and
neat.
it is sort of. I am sort of surprised that it doesn't do more. I mean, it has money to operate, keep the lights on, and all that stuff, but it really doesn't. You know, the website was built in like 1980.
Yes,
Alta
that was the thing that made me
horrible.
the angriest. Is because they have a really nice message to put out to the world, and
And
their
it's just
website
FUD.
when you go there is just crap. It is
Just convert that to a WordPress site in
Dude,
15 minutes. you're
Wix.com.
good to go.
It literally has like old like floating frames in
Yeah.
it. Like
Oh, I
it is
love
terrible.
Yeah, it really didn't
frames.
have Facebook or the Twitters or anything like that.
Nothing.
Like
you
the
know.
Girl Trouble website.
Yeah,
It
basically.
could
yeah,
be,
like
yeah.
the old
It's
school.
probably worse than that one, honestly. I think it came up like half the site came up with 404 errors.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
one side was in a frame and the other side was like cannot be found, dude. Yeah.
So you sort of have to know
Yeah.
that it's there, and then you have to know that, oh, it's been 90 days since I've gone there.
Yep.
That's like I think that's the beauty of a lot of Tacoma. I mean, it's frustrating when you're going from an analog age to a digital age, and that sort of trying to get there, and some people just are like, "Nah, fuck it," because when you're in Tacoma, there's a lot of that sort of thing. Not necessarily resistant to change, but ambivalent towards it. Being like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're just doing what we're doing, and we'll be fine."
Whatever.
But
Yeah.
a lot of people who are new to the area, you're going to miss out on a lot of this stuff because they don't even know about it. Like, I didn't even know about this until Scott just kind of stumbled upon it.
And I totally did. It was I had a family member come into town and he does like TripAdvisor or something, and it was on there as like a place they should
You didn't
see.
ask me to give him a tour, did you?
Well,
Why?
you were busy that weekend. I actually tried to, but you turned
Oh, that's
me
right.
down.
Yeah. Fuck, dick.
So,
I do remember that now.
But yeah, he told me about it. He's like the conservatory, right? And so we went there, like with the flowers and shit, which is really neat too, right?
Sure.
I mean, it's okay. And he's a science teacher. I probably shouldn't have said that, but he is. So he's big into that stuff. And then he's like, "Well, there's this manuscript library," and like you could hear my eyes rolling. I swear to God, I was like, "Okay, what's a manuscript library, right?" And then we went, and I had the best time. I'm such a nerd. I just nerded out there, yeah. And
Yeah,
I've
it's
been
a lot
like
of fun.
4 times since then, yeah. And drug the wife, and you're gonna go eventually.
yeah, I
and
do want to go.
Yeah,
Jeff
it
and
really,
Brogan's
it's
going.
Really was
Yeah.
some of those things. It's really cool. Right park. I mean, you probably drive by it,
Exactly.
100 times.
When he said,
and you're like, oh,
when he
yeah.
said it was in Wright Park, I'm like, where? Like right
right
by
across
there.
the street from the conservatory.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another one of those things to check out. I know people know about the glass museum, the art museum, the history museum, like all that stuff downtown. Basically, right on Pacific Avenue is a lot of those stuff. But you don't. Get
I remember
to find
when
out
there
about
was a
those.
radio and typewriter museum.
What?
So yeah,
Oh, did that one go away too?
yeah, yeah. It's been
Aw.
around for a while.
That's sad.
I've done the pinball museum in Seattle. Have you guys ever done that?
Yeah.
That's a good time.
Yeah.
Did you do it?
Yeah, the day that Justin got mad at me and told me we couldn't be friends anymore because I couldn't go because I had to spend time with my kids.
Aww.
I've told you that you. Yeah. I've stopped being your friend a lot.
It's
I
super
mean,
fun.
We've been together for a couple thousand years.
I'm not overly concerned about it at this point. You're in my will.
Gee,
Yeah,
what a
right.
loss.
Yeah, right. What are some of the other like a hidden place that people might not know about that you really love, or like if somebody's like saying like I want to find a place that might not be on TripAdvisor, that would be fun to go check out.
I think. Well, I'm a fan of the small museums. Of course, I would go to the Lakewood Historical Society's museum on Motor Avenue because
Nice.
I helped found the society.
Perfect.
But the DuPont Museum in DuPont, Washington, that's kind of fun.
Now, what historical significance does DuPont have for this area? Was it just because it's close? Exactly. I know. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. He's like, how am I going to turn this into a small little tidbit here, huh?
Yeah. Well, okay. As anyone who's cultured would know,
Oh,
what
shit.
is now Fort Nisqually at Point Defiance didn't start there. It was in what is
No.
present day DuPont.
What?
They moved it from DuPont 2-point defiance
Hold
during
on.
the Depression during a works in progress.
So you're telling me they
Administration.
took an entire fort and moved it into a park?
Yes.
That doesn't even sound possible.
That's exactly what they did.
And
That's
I
exactly
remember,
what they did.
I remember Fort Nisqually because right next to it used to be Never Never Land.
Right.
And if you didn't know about that, it was
Isn't that a Michael Jackson thing?
kind of.
Yeah, yeah,
But it was.
sir.
Ooh, look
Oh,
at that!
shit.
Bringing the tacos. Yeah, Brogan bringing tacos.
God damn it.
Bringing
I love
the
it.
tacos.
With Never Never Land, it was
smell
essentially
awesome, dude.
a Grimm's fairy tale version of a theme park, sort of.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Yeah, it was like I remember going in like second grade for the field trip. It was you would go to Never Never Land and like ride on the slides, but I couldn't because I had a concussion. I was really mad about that. As
Where'd
you can
get a
tell, I still
concussion
haven't.
From? Where'd you get a concussion from?
Walking on the monkey bars and falling through and smacking my head.
For getting fucking lippy.
Yeah, that too. And then also going to Fort Nisqually because essentially it had turned into a, I don't want to say Ren Fair because it wasn't that, but it was.
Living history exhibit.
Thank you. See, that's why we have Steve here because he knows the words.
That's what it is now, though, right? Like you go there now
it
and they
still-
dress up.
is it
and
open?
still-
Yeah, they've got docents and things like that, but yeah, they do some, rendezvous type things.
I was gonna say every time I'm
reenactment
there,
things.
they have people like
Yeah.
dressed up and they give you little tours
Yeah.
and yeah.
Uh-huh.
Everybody's
Sorry,
eating
I'm
right
eating
now.
right now, yeah.
Yeah, it's taco time.
Yep. So that's kind of so, and of course, DuPont was named after the DuPont powder company that made all the explosives that created the Panama Canal.
Why are you not eating? Get into the microphone over there now. Why?
It's good.
I boudreauxed you guys, and I'm just checking to see how
Oh.
much I boudreauxed you.
Okay, this is why I'm now sweating and my face is turning red and my cheeks are turning red
It is
because
hot over here.
yeah, like this
Yeah,
is.
Jeff's got the worst one on accident.
Oh, sorry, Jeff.
He's just chugging his water,
just
dude.
chugging
That's
water
great.
bottle. Yeah.
Brogan, you cook good meat. That was very tasty.
Oh, I got more.
Oh yeah, Chef Brogan Adams, or what are we calling him? Brogan Ramsey over there. He's not swearing over there except saying random weird things. But
Dick Dingers.
do make a delicious taco. God damn, this is really hot.
Yeah, you've killed it twice today, dude. I think mine's all right. It's not too hot. Well, it's a little spicy.
I got a little bit of sweat, a little bit of heat in my cheeks.
Yeah, I'm
I can
starting
feel
to
it.
now.
That is fantastic. So you talked about the what we I just totally got brain fried on this one.
The little DuPont
Yeah, the
History
DuPont
Museum.
History Museum. Yeah.
It's kind of fun because they got some Weyerhaeuser money and they got some nice displays for a little community museum. It's kind of fun. It would be great. I mean, you start from Fort Nisqually in DuPont, and then you go to Fort Steilacoom, which is on the ground of the Western State Hospital.
Oh yeah.
With the 4 buildings that remain there, and then you go from there to the Lakewood Museum. Go from there down to the Washington State History Museum, and then go to the Art Museum. You have a day of all of the history
A
of
day of learning.
yeah,
So
and for maybe $10.
We should book you out a day, and you should do that with us.
yeah, that'd be fun to do.
Yeah.
We could do like a Facebook Live or just recording like we did before. Just hang out.
Yeah,
and just
because
learn.
look, I've heard about the Washington State Museum, and we walked by it like 100 times. I think Brogan and we might have put posters on it.
I'm going to be doing a talk there for when my McNeil Island book comes out.
but I'm never going to go by
Really?
myself.
Yeah.
So
probably in a month.
Oh,
or
did
so.
you see? There's some guy doing the Maury Island thing at the Bigfoot thing at Ocean Shores.
oh yeah,
Oh, really?
I think there's
yeah.
2 dudes out there going on about that they're the experts of the Maury Island incident.
Oh, you need to go over there and start.
It's
a
time-
school some
and I
people.
heard that I'm like, I can't fucking wait to tell Steve. I think we need to set up a fist fight.
Brogan
Some
starting
bitch
shit.
needs some stabbing.
He does. You got a pin, a projectile pin, or something. You can take him.
He's got that tactical
I guarantee
pen.
that motherfucker doesn't have a fountain pen to get him in the eye.
Right.
You know, people bring that episode up to us a lot. Like, as a matter of fact, the guy that was in here just before you, he's like, "Well, I was listening to a bunch of your episodes." I was like, "Yeah, which one?" He's like, "Ghost ones," and then it's like the one about the island. I was like, "Maury Island." He's like, "Yeah, that guy." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
people
we get a
seriously
lot of people like
Oh,
that.
great.
go back if you haven't heard this. We got a lot of new listeners from the Grit City magazine, so really, I'm happy that people are listening to us on
Whatever.
that.
They got a lot of new readers from our podcast. That's
Probably,
what really happened.
Probably, yes. I believe that. Absolutely believe that, Scott.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, it's generally how that works, or something along those lines.
Whatever.
But if you go back and you listen to Steve talking about the Maury Island incident, it's super intriguing. You've done a bunch of stuff, the Jake Bird stuff that you've done with us before too.
Oh,
like
sure, yeah.
That's our number one search thing.
Oh, really?
online. Yeah, Jake Bird Hex is actually
people
a thing.
love serial
Oh,
killers.
yeah,
Go
yeah, well, that's-
figure.
Sometime this summer, I was thinking about doing a serial killer drunk history.
Oh, you should.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun. People always want to hear about people killing other people.
You could be like, you guys want to see a signed, personalized Christmas card from fucking Jeffrey Dahmer?
Charles Manson.
Charles
man.
Manson,
There's
whatever,
a bit of
somebody.
a difference. I don't know. Are you down with
Well,
Dahmer?
Who isn't?
You down with OGG?
Well, and I mean,
I think Jeffrey Dahmer just kind of tasted funny. I don't know why.
but we also like Ted Bundy had ties here too.
His brother still lives here.
His
That's
parents owned a boathouse across the street from my parents' house in Gig Harbor.
Really? Damn.
I mean, he's
True
a
story.
great guy. I mean, we're
What's the lure to the Pacific Northwest? Just because there's a lot of open area to leave bodies, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lack of
That's
vitamin D.
That might be it, man.
yeah.
My doctor said something about that. but they
Everybody
didn't
gets
say-
sad,
it's
just wants to murder people.
Yeah, like the seasonal murder
makes
disorder
sense.
there. Yeah, it gets winter. It's time to kill.
Well, you've got a large
Green
you know,
River murder.
a
killers,
large
too.
metropolitan area right next to a lot of woods, and no one's necessarily from here, so they don't have the deep connections where,
Yeah.
if a
somebody
hooker dies in Louisiana, that's just okay. So one school is missing
Boudreaux's
a fourth
pipe
grade
cleaner.
teacher for a year.
Well, and that's like one of those things is that maybe people I don't realize like how the Pacific Northwest really came to be, and a lot of it was
The earth cooled.
Well, okay, thanks. But it was the the population showing up. It was timber logging, gold rush, and shipping was a big thing. And Tacoma was going to be this gigantic port, and it still is.
Hey, Steve.
Hey,
Didn't you have a podcast with us about the
oddly
port of
enough, I
Tacoma?
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
feel
right.
like I know this story.
Yeah,
You guys should listen to
think
that
I've-
episode.
I think I've.
Is that an old school episode?
I've heard something about the.
Yeah, that was
the
our
story,
first
yeah.
episode with Dunkelberger.
Wow.
The City of Destiny.
Yeah.
Oh
We had
man,
George Francis Train story.
did you happen to go to the State of the City address or any
I
of
did
those
not. I had to.
stuff
mow
to
my
go
lawn.
on?
No,
Mow your
no,
lawn?
I love how he just stopped and he looked at you. He's like, something else.
Mow my lawn.
no, actually,
Mow my hair.
yeah, I spent all of last week. I was substitute teaching for the Tacoma School
What?
District. Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely love it.
They let you near kids.
Absolutely love
Is this
it.
the first time?
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Love
can
it.
see that.
That would no. Okay,
Love
so
it, love it, love it.
are you getting those kids? Are you giving them drunk history like PG? Like I don't think you're necessarily getting hammered, but are you telling people stories about all the weird
well,
stuff you know, or are you sticking to guidelines?
Well, no, yeah. The teacher leaves lesson plans that are great, and I go through,
Yeah.
and then we get through that, and it's like, hey, I'll tell you a little story about Tacoma. If you guys are quiet and you do it, I'll give you a little trivia thing. Nuggets of trivia throughout the thing. So okay, if you guys can be quiet for 10 minutes, then I'll tell you a little nugget. I'll tell them
That's cool.
the Baskin Robbins story, or why Tacoma isn't larger than Seattle story, and whatever. And then by that time, the period is over, and like get the next.
Nice.
crew in
And that's
yeah.
perfect because you can recycle your stories forever.
Boom.
You've got a captive audience for
Yeah.
every half hour. I don't know how it's called.
Man, I can totally see you being a
And
teacher
the idea
like
is
that,
that
for sure.
my idea is it's a reward device because I'm like, oh man, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
The best
Yeah,
around,
right.
and then it creates an air of appreciation to the city that they're in, and the more you get that appreciation that they share that story, then they appreciate it, and then it grows. And Tacoma isn't as self-deprecating as it has been.
And that's one of those things because everyone talks about, Tacoma is like bad, it's terrible, you're gonna get shot. You need a tactical fountain pen to make sure and keep yourself safe all around here. But it's a really it's an interesting place, but it's not an completely unsafe place. It's like any place in America, you're gonna have all sorts of stuff going on, but at the same point, it's not super dangerous. It's not like you're just gonna go out and get mugged. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe
it is a town
I
of
don't know.
dichotomies. It is the city of destiny just as much it is the city of the Ash Street shooting. And it is the city of Jake Bird. It is the city of Weyerhaeuser.
Yeah.
It is the city of Ted Bundy as it is Dale Chihuly.
That's a really good
and
point on that one.
Just to think about the Ash Street on SouthSoundTalk.com.
Oh, really?
yeah, I mean it's the famous ranger shooting. Remember that?
Oh,
No.
yes. I actually read
It's
that
known
article.
as the Ash Street shooting.
That was
Brogan's getting more tacos for everyone.
Yeah.
that was the one with the Rangers.
Yeah,
right?
September 23rd, 1989. A sergeant of the 2nd Rangers that was then Fort Lewis had a house on Ash Street that he bought for $10,000 2 years earlier, and the people on Ash Street were getting tired of the open air drug market along that time, and so he installed a camera just videotaping this house across the street, and the gangbangers wanted no part of that, and they started throwing pears and shooting BB guns to try to knock the video camera down. So he's like, okay, playtime's over. I'm gonna get some of my coworkers to come over and have a barbecue.
Okay.
Coworkers show up at said barbecue. They go over and politely have a discussion with said crackhead about, hey, could you stop shooting up my house?
Yeah.
The crackheads were saying, nay, we're gonna do our own thing. Like, okay.
Hey, I bite my thumb at you, sir.
Yeah. So they went back and they had their barbecue and all that stuff, and then they just, as the sun went down, a couple of shots fired out, and they're like, okay, shit's about to go down. So they just turned all the lights off in the house and bunkered down for the night until people started shooting, and they pulled out their personal defense stuff, not military stuff.
Not
they
military.
Didn't use military
the
stuff.
personal stuff.
So yada yada yada. 300 rounds were exchanged in a matter of 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Holy
300
shit.
rounds.
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. There were.
I was alive during this time, and I didn't know anything
Yeah,
about
there
this.
were 9mm, there were 45s, there were shotguns, there was
God damn.
stuff, and then oddly enough, no one. This made national news, and people were saying, there's 12 2nd Rangers shooting all this good stuff, and no one was killed. Like, if they wanted to kill somebody, they would have been dead yesterday.
Yeah.
It was very strategic that they, did not kill people.
Wow. Yeah, but still.
Crazy, right?
Cleaning up your streets vigilante style, or at least just
That
trying
is
to
a very Tacoma way of doing things.
Yeah, and that's like,
and again,
wow.
that is the good version of the Tacoma method of not getting rid of the Chinese. I mean, it's that we're gonna handle it our own way, good or bad. That's how we sort of.
Apparently, you got things started though, because after that, they really started cleaning up the
Oh
neighborhoods,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So,
well, when you have something like that hits national news,
yeah,
you're like, oh, maybe we
Safe
should
Streets was formed that year, and
That's
now the funny thing is, okay, so that $10,000 house that he had bought in 1985 is now worth $364,000.
God damn! And as a person who just bought
It's
a
still there.
house, yeah, I understand all of that. Like, oof, like that, and that's
Gentrification everywhere. Everywhere you look, gentrification. Sorry,
well, and it's one of those things that because
It's a great neighborhood.
right?
I went to the state of the city address, and one of those things is the affordability of the housing, because there's a lot of people. Most of the people in Tacoma can't afford to buy a house or rent in Tacoma, and so they're trying to look into doing that sort of thing, because you have that housing disparity, which gets into people getting into desperate situations that turn into.
Oh, it's going to get much worse.
You think so? You really think so?
for sure.
Well, here's the problem. Okay, just 100 yards from here, you're going to have the link expansion to Hilltop.
Mm-hmm.
And the big argument, not argument, the statements of support were that, here you've got all these low and middle income people on the Hilltop who don't have cars or can't afford cars, going to be able to take this link downtown. Like, they're not going to be living there.
Yeah.
They can't afford that, because when you invest hundreds of millions of dollars in infrastructure, you are not going to get $500 a month rent.
No.
Right next to it. That's not how that happens.
I'm hoping
Tacoma needs to have a serious conversation,
and
we are not having that conversation.
and they have so many old.
$500 rent is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's never gonna
That'll
happen.
never be a thing.
It's unfortunate though.
You can't get $1,000 rent.
No, there are people
Also
literally.
a ridiculous figure.
People are fighting for that sort of even like $1,400 sight unseen. They'll pay for a rent in a place that is not great, and because that's what's affordable around here, and it's still not affordable, and it sucks.
My first apartment in Tacoma was right up yonder, and it was the basement of a converted house that was converted into 4 units. At the time, this was in 2004.
God damn, Steve, that was like 15 years ago. Holy
Shut up.
shit. How old are you? I'm just kidding.
Are you hurtful? It was $350 a month.
Wow.
What?
That same apartment is 1975.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Just one bedroom.
1 bedroom.
Man.
Because you blasted golden nut all over the place.
Man, it sucks to
If you take a black light, it just looks like a Jackson Pollock painting all over the walls.
There's a bunch of Asian dudes sitting out in front taking pictures going, that's Dunkelberger's golden nut living room.
Right.
Brogan, you made great tacos, and now you're talking about that.
Did he have a snail collection? Because I don't know what the hell this stuff is.
These are really
too soon?
These are really good tacos. Okay, what was that hot sauce there? You got to talk into the microphone because I need to find out. It's the one with the alligator clip on it.
Boudreaux's pipe cleaner.
Boudreaux's. Oh,
pipe cleaner.
Red,
Jesus Christ.
red Savia chili pepper.
oh God, yeah. This is.
It was really good, man.
It
Those
is
are
good.
really
It's, I'm gonna have to hit the bathroom pretty soon. I
They
know
weren't.
that.
They weren't too hot. I didn't think it was too hot. It was nice, but
Nice.
I
Spicy.
mixed the hot sauce with the grilled onions.
Oh, that's good.
I've been watching the hot chicken wing show on YouTube.
Oh, hot ones.
Yeah.
Oh.
I fucking love that show. Have you watched it?
It's a dude where he has questions, but what will happen is they have to eat a hot wing, and it goes up in scale of the Scoville as they're going along. So it's like, oh, here's a normal hot wing, and like, how did you get into your business or whatever? And you're talking about it, and like finally up to the biggest one, which is like nuclear grade, like seriously, like burn your asshole
Yeah, I
pipe
think
cleaner
it's like
stuff.
it's like 2 million Scoville
Yeah,
units. Or
and then
something. It's way
it's asking a person a question, so they're trying to deal with this heat while trying to answer this question.
Their
and-
nose is running,
yeah.
their eyes are watering.
chugging
They're
milk,
seeing Jesus.
like, just
Yeah.
like oh, hold on, no, like, where was I forgot where I was. Like it was I just watched the Gordon Ramsay one.
That's a great one.
That one's
right?
hilarious.
Yeah, he's great. Though.
Yeah,
Fuck,
yeah,
God.
he's trying to keep it professional, and he's just like, oh,
Can't do it. Huh?
No. Another great one is Brian Redband, the comedian guy
Yeah,
for
yeah,
Joe
yeah.
Rogan. Yeah, they actually go to a place in L.A. and eat some that are just stupid hot. It looks like, man.
are you a spicy eater
I
there?
love it spicy, yeah.
You do? Like I used to be really into it, and then I don't know, I want to say I turned old, but like I'm not old.
I
Your
love
butthole turned
spicy.
old.
I don't particularly like things that are garlicky or oniony.
Oh, more garlic for me. I love garlic.
Yeah, I can do some garlic. as
I
well.
love it when it just like afterwards, like I'm sweating, I can still smell garlic.
Dude, I just make myself garlic like toast all the time. Like,
Well, no, it's like,
Garlic
like
bread,
Texas
garlic
toast,
bread.
You know,
Well, I do like
that's fine,
toast
you know,
and then
but,
put garlic stuff
but
on
you know,
it.
trouble is that
Asshole.
day after, garlic smell stuff. No.
Yeah, I don't
no.
care. Whatever. I'm married. Been married for a while. Just deal with the day-old garlic smell.
Yeah.
Just deal.
Brutal.
So that's where I get that smell.
Hey,
Hi.
those were awesome, dude. You killed it.
I just had a rough one.
Why?
What?
Was it a hot
Because I
one?
made my own taco and I used the leavings of all the rest of it.
Your face
So I
is
got,
so
like,
red right now.
Like the bottom,
mixed it?
I got the bottom bitch of
cravings?
the hot sauce.
yeah, your cheeks are rosy.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna not touch my dick later.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't touch your body after that one right there on that one. Dunk, I think it's a good time for us to end this right now, man. We've been talking
not
for a
the
while.
dunk.
But I love everything you do. Again, go
Thank
to
you
the
so much.
Pythian Temple on Mondays, get a hot dog, get a tour, check out the insides of the place. I mean, we've done video, and plenty of places have done video and done specials and stuff in there. But look at it in person, because it's one of those things that is a marvel, and you're not going to appreciate it until you're actually there. Broken Spoke for
Yeah,
Steve's Drunk History.
You can find me on the Facebook, Steve's Drunk History, or Twitter.
I
Steve's
still
Drunk
can't
History,
believe that
or
place is called the
Instagram.
Broken Spoke.
You
Why?
were just stuck on that.
Because you don't know what a broken spoke is, obviously.
Urban
So
Dictionary.
after you've had extraordinarily rough anal sex,
Oh.
where your butthole splits, it's called a broken spoke. It is a known euphemism for bleeding, cracked butthole, and it makes me sad and giggle every time I see
Yeah,
it.
every time you giggle about it.
Okay, I hang around a different crowd of people than you do.
No, you fucking don't. They're just too polite to bring it up.
Yeah, Brogan talking about the guy who just gave us all pipe cleaner
Right.
hot sauce.
No, it just makes me giggle every time. I'm like, damn, broken spoke. I mean, that's like a BDSM bar, not a bicycle bar.
I don't know if they have those in Tacoma.
I don't know. They should have Urban Dictionary their name first.
Wow.
I know.
Well,
'cause
they bought Broken Spoke when it was a bike repair bar. And then
Yeah.
just kept the motif.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Makes a lot of fucking sense. It's a nice place, though.
Yeah, they're great people. Yeah. If anyone wants to, once a month, find me on the Instagram,
Nice.
the Twitters. If they, I'm always looking for new places to
Yeah.
talk. So if anyone has any recommendations, or you want me to just do a birthday party, bar mitzvah, or
Right.
retirement party, let me know about. I'll do history talk about all things Tacoma. Or
Yeah, I'll see about you getting a copy of that game, too.
Yeah,
Oh,
get
okay.
those games. Have some game nights with the Pythian Knights.
come on.
I
Do
love
we have
it.
to roll in there one time?
Well, we
Yeah.
gotta get the HP
We've
Lovecraft
been talking about it
one.
for like
that
5
one's
years.
apparently better than the other one.
Nice.
It's the same idea. Like you just so the deal
with
with these
Cthulhu.
the consulting detective games are Sherlock Holmes is away fighting Moriarty or whatever the fuck he's doing,
Oh, so
and
someone
he's
else has
left
come in.
you a job, you and your party, and you open this mystery. It's like this lady was found dead in the park. Whatever. There's
for me,
bird
Wednesday.
shit on her shirt, or whatever the problem is, and then you have all this information, and then the world is your oyster. Like, okay, let's go talk to the autism guy, the autopsy report. Okay, let's go talk to the doctor. Then you can read their report, and then you have 2 hours to solve the mystery.
and you're figuring it out. Yeah.
And then when you all decide, okay, it's time to find out, you go and you look and you see if you're right. It's really cool.
That seems pretty fun.
Way
There's something
better
to do
than
there.
Hunter Killer. I'm gonna
Okay.
be honest.
Nice.
I will accept your donation to the Pythian Lodge. So
I'll give you a Hunter Killer too if you want to try it out.
Oh sure, yeah, that'd be great.
Cool. Right
It
on.
is surprisingly expensive.
It is.
I'm like,
yeah,
I
and
don't know what
it's-
we're exactly getting
Well,
here.
it's because people only do it once.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to make sure and get them on the one time.
And the quality of the product in the Hunter Killer box is really good. Just the mystery is not up to my fucking mystery snobness, I guess. Like,
Well,
it-
we're thinking about doing D&D
if
or
my 12
Pathfinder or
if my
something like that.
Oh yeah, Dungeons and
Yeah?
Dragons at the
Yeah.
Pythian.
Right?
You
That'd be
know,
kind of cool.
I'd sponsor that too. Problem is, Dungeons and Dragons is a broke ass
I'm pretty
man's game.
Didn't we have the guy that made Pathfinder on?
We did, Mike Selinker. No,
Yep.
he did.
Yeah.
He did.
So
the
if
card game.
if he is listening and he wants a private tour of the Pythian Lodge, with a donation of a Pathfinder starter kit, even,
I'll hook you up with a Pathfinder
Give me
D&D set.
There you go.
I'll take all
Ask
the
Adam
games.
Boyd. He's got all the Pathfinder.
Yes,
shit.
I know.
That's where he's getting these ideas from, dude.
Well,
Come
I mean,
on,
fuck,
Adam's
he's got
like,
it all.
dude,
I'm not going to give you something that fucking Adam should just give you.
So we can play D&D. I already have a character.
Yeah.
I'll be in charge.
Do you
Don't
really
worry.
have a character?
No.
No, you don't.
He's
You
got a
liar.
little
All right, Steve. Again,
level 4 paladin with a Vorpal sword.
Vopalthord.
Definitely not a paladin.
Yeah,
No,
he's
he's
not.
got a
Look at
fucking
that guy.
tactical
If
pen.
anything, I'm chaotic, crazy. If that's a thing. Neutral.
Well, and that's so funny because I've got guys
Longbow.
that work for Wizards of the Coast and have side
as
projects
well,
making different role playing games. And one of these guys, he's got
No,
his-
they role play.
He's
not
got
role playing games.
He's
That's a
made
different bar.
no. He's made a character that is his job is to cause, like, one of his abilities is to cause civil unrest.
Uh-oh.
He's a like
First
a
Amendment
anarchist?
hawker or whatever. No, people that you would
busker?
get together in a
busker.
crowd, and he'd be the guy that would do all the political speaking. I can't think of the name of it.
Barker?
Yeah,
Like a carnival barker?
yeah, but more with a political agenda, and
Instigator?
they
Rabble
actually
rouser?
have
Rabble
wrote
rouser.
in a weapon that is a 1d4 pen for this guy because he writes
Yeah.
I
political
was gonna
things
say,
and all
we-
that.
we
no,
held a 1D4
you know what I'm
pen.
going to do is I'm going to tell him that we need to make a special weapon for him. That'll be a 1d6. We're going to call it the Dunkelberger. I'm going to get that fucking
Dunkelberger.
done.
Do it.
I'm gonna because
Do it.
I'm giving that guy a ride to get his taxes done. So.
I love it.
Just remember that it's Regreb Blecknud backwards if you ever have a problem. with
It's
spell-
what?
Dunkelberger spelled backwards is Regreb Blecknud.
He says
Oh,
it every
good.
time. He
No,
says,
I'm Nagorb.
Yeah.
Nagorb.
Not everybody memorizes their name backwards. That's weird.
Yeah, Nastabor Nitsuj.
Yeah.
That's mine.
Yeah, okay. I'm
Okay,
not. I
Scott?
don't know. I'm
Scott?
not participating
Scott?
in this.
Loser.
No, fuck you guys.
Get your
It's
shit
gonna
together.
take me too long to figure it out. One of us has been
Fucking
drinking.
dullard.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Again, if you want to listen to other episodes, gritcitypodcast.com. Follow us on all sorts of social media to do so. Back us on Patreon if you like the weird stuff that we're doing and
Yeah, give
want to
us some
see us
money.
get better gear and do some more fun stuff.
You get a T-shirt.
You can get a t-shirt. You can
Or
get yourself a
sweatshirt.
hoodie,
Yeah.
access to all of the old
fucking
school.
hoodies are great. In fact, I got complimented by a beautiful blonde lady about it. She's like, "Listen, fool, I've seen you in some busted ass clothes. Those hoodies are all right."
Oh, so your wife is actually paying you compliments now. That's great.
Only on the fucking stupid hoodie. Now that it doesn't have a hole in the armpit. Although this is
love
probably the one with the hole. I don't know.
You got a hole in your
You're
armpit
not
there.
supposed to use the armpit. You're supposed to use the sleeve for that.
Okay, now it's gotten weird.
Dick dingers.
Thank you guys for listening, and for now we are out.
Konnichiwa.